Jenny Artichoke lived on a boat by the sea with her baby. And she didn't know much about anything, but she was so much in love with me. Jenny, looking through a porthole, Jenny, climbing up a flagpole, Jenny, with hair afire. How could anyone ever pass by her? Sorry, I couldn't think of any cool wrestling tie-in to do to Jenny Artichoke, but that's by the bitchin' group Kaleidoscope, who sings this song much better than I do, and they get the lyrics right, too. So.
You know what I was going to ask you? Did you watch that video of that singer Miguel?
No.
The one that did the leg drop?
No.
He tried to jump over the fans, and when he jumped over, he slipped and leg dropped this one girl across the head.
You told me about that. I forgot. Oh, God.
Here, I'll look it up while you discuss.
She wasn't hurt, right?
No, she came out. After the show, they actually interviewed them both. He apologized and everything.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Vandal Drummond and Fredo Esparza. On another edition of LuchaWorld. Hope everybody is doing totally well these days. I know we are. We've watched very little on TV, but we've seen we've seen enough on TV. We've seen enough.
I think we've gone to a lot of shows.
We've gone to a lot of live shows, and we've had a lot of fun doing that. For the first time, we checked out one of the shows run by Supernatural, the UIPW in East Los Angeles. And got to see Guerrero Maya in action. And if you hear my voice hesitating, it's because I'm about to watch Miguel at the Billboard Music Awards do the leg drop. Oh my God. I'm amazed
and
he wasn't hurt.
He kept singing. But the way he leg dropped her, she banged her head on the...
I was going to say, it looked like he took her head off practically.
I think immediately he knew right away what happened.
Go to YouTube, people, and look for Miguel Billboard Music Awards 2013 leg drops audience member.
You just have to write Miguel leg drop.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can cut to the chase,
You don't have to write the whole thing.
Oh, Lord. No, write everything, ladies and gentlemen. Don't listen
Miguel
to
leg drop.
Oh my God, that could have been tragic.
Best drop kick you've seen this year?
Hey, she no-sold it.
Yeah, she no-sold it.
Yeah.
She just walked away.
Oh,
and then he hugs the white girl.
Okay, so now that...
Now back to
back to our show now that I'm done singing very badly and
watching Miguel leg drop.
As we talk about us watching Miguel leg drop some poor lady. Well, actually, there's a ton of news going on these days.
Well, we were going to talk about the shows we went to recently.
Yeah, the shows we went to. A few weeks ago, we went to our first UIPW show that actually featured Guerrero Maya Jr. on the cover.
Yeah, he was it was him, Bestia 666, Hijo de Rey Misterio.
Yes.
Those were the three. And Damian 666.
Yes.
Those were the four big names. And Kung Fu Jr. Let's
not forget
Kung Fu Jr. He actually wasn't that bad. He was pretty good.
I liked him.
I actually thought he was pretty good. Like, him versus Damian kind of reminds me of the whole, was Kung Fu, right? The original? Him feuding with somebody that they would take out the nunchucks and everything.
The first time I ever saw the original Kung Fu was at the Olympic Auditorium, and his rival was Ari Romero. And anybody who has ever seen Ari Romero can tell you that he did that nunchuck spot so well because Kung Fu would do this beautiful work with the nunchuck just to entertain the audience members, and then he'd give to Ari Romero, and Ari Romero would swing it 3 times and bop himself in the head and roll his eyes up in his head.
Ari Romero was a great bump taker.
A very great bump taker. I'm stammering, man. What's with it?
It's barely 5 minutes into the show and you're already stammering.
I haven't had enough coffee, and maybe I should start doing drugs. I don't know. Maybe I would work up.
Hey, like Conan, you could actually get high before the show. Or during the show, it works too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to hear Vandal Drummond do bong hits in the background while you listen to this? The beautiful sound of, steam and smoke swirling into my lungs. You can write me at Liger, Lyger, at AOL.com. I give that address out all the time, and nobody pays any attention.
They never send you emails?
Yes!
You know why? Because they know you're not going to read them. or reply to them.
Yeah, besides they know me on Facebook already, probably, but...
And you don't reply there either.
I've had that email address for 19 years now, so I'm going to flaunt it.
And he's only answered email 19 times.
That's right. So
next year, the 20th year you've had that email, you'll answer another email next year.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
It'll be a celebration,
Yes.
you know, Maya.
You'll remember that person's name. Yay!
Okay. Anyway,
Back to the show. Yeah, what was I going to say? See, I already forgot. Yeah, I thought it was a fun show. Superboy went to the show.
in fact, we met a lot with Enrique Medina Jr.
Enrique
was there.
I didn't even know who that was till you told me afterwards. And I had spent, like, what was it, like, a whole 3 hours just talking to him, and I was like, and then you're like, that was Enrique Medina Jr. Like, oh, really? That was Enrique.
Yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the local LA Lucha scene,
Dynamic.
we have 3 Lucha Libre, I do have to start doing drubs, because I just call them drubs. Did you hear that?
Drubs.
Man, sobriety is a dangerous thing, I guess. No, there's a guy named Dynamic who was on the local lucha scene way back, I think maybe into the 70s,
Wow.
whose name is Enrique Medina. He has a son named Enrique Medina, who was a photographer for many years and still takes pictures of the matches. And now there's a third Enrique Medina, who is this really goth-looking 14-year-old who is following in his papa's footsteps and is snapping pics at the matches too. We saw a lot of people we hadn't seen in a long time. Jaguar de Oro.
Yeah, he wrestled. Well, I remember we went in the back and we didn't know who anybody was. So
made me feel
it actually looked like we didn't know anybody at first, because it was like, yeah, we don't know anybody here.
Even 6 or 7 years ago, if I went into a local lucha dressing room, it was like a reunion. Everybody knew me, I knew everybody, and I walk in there and I realize, wow, a lot of guys have hung up their boots in the last couple of years, and there's a lot of new kids I haven't seen in a long time.
Somehow Bestia 666 knew who we were, and I've never met him. Or he must be a really friendly guy. I'm guessing he must be a really friendly guy.
He was cool. He was a nice guy.
Very nice guy.
But they run every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Have a really good show there.
Yeah.
If you want to look up on Facebook, they have an account, UIPW.
They had a pretty good, that one singles match with Thunderwolf and Robbie Phoenix.
That was nice, yes.
Had a really scary finisher, though.
That was frightening. I thought he was
I think I explained it as being something that looked like a Razor's Edge. It started as a Razor's Edge,
It started
right?
as a Razor's Edge
And then
off
he,
of the
like,
turnbuckles.
Yeah, and then it looked like they wanted to do something like some sort of flip. Like the guy on the top was going to flip or
And
something.
not only did it look messed up, it looked like Phoenix was hurt. He is okay, but
Yeah, it was okay afterwards.
I paused
Yeah.
in fear.
Hector Canales was there. Actually, he was the one guy we knew in the back, so...
Yes.
Yeah, he was actually the one we didn't even know who Ruby Cardenio was. So we like, who's this?
Well, most of the people that we knew that we hadn't seen in a long time were out in the audience.
Yeah.
But they're all people who were associated with LA Lucha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hector Canales and Ruby Gardenia, they had a great tag match. That was very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's a fun
Actually,
show.
the final 3 matches were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff you would enjoy at an indie show.
Exactly.
Yeah, because, I mean, the main event was really good with
very good work.
Hijo de Rey Misterio and El Misterioso.
And Guerrero Maya Jr.
No, he was in the semi.
Was he in that? Wait.
Yes. That was a tag match. The main event was a
Boy,
tag
am I
match.
burying myself in this one? What?
Yeah, the main event was Supernatural and Bestia 666. It helps that I have the
notes.
the notes right in front.
That's what I'm going to start doing.
I actually went on my page and found it.
I thought it was cute how the heels team in that main event had a manager, a gringo manager, which helped get more heat.
Yeah, K. Ross.
And Supernatural waves the American flag all over the place. He's an interesting story, Supernatural, because he is a gringo who specifically got into the Lucha Libre scene. And Superboy, I remember saying, he had a little adapting to do and was really talented, and he's a gringo jumping into a whole different style of wrestling, and has done not only very well for himself as a wrestler, but is actually getting a rep as a promoter too.
Yeah.
A friendly guy too.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
What else was on that show?
Oh, and I was about to say, the manager, they had a stip where the manager would get his head shaved if the baby faces won.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that, but it was set up early in the card. Like
Yes.
the very first thing that happened, and I mean, if you weren't paying attention, you didn't even know what's going on.
What I loved is not only did they get a huge pop for him getting his head shaved, But, they had a pair of scissors there. It wasn't the barber shears. Did they use the barber shears in the end? Or
no, I don't think they did.
I think they just used the scissors.
Yeah.
But they invited one little kid to come up and snip a lock of his hair. And that led to another kid jumping into the ring wanting to get a snip of hair. So
did he have a lot of hair? It wasn't that much.
Not
right?
that much, no. But the humiliation factor was there.
Yeah.
And before you knew it, the ring was filled with kids all wanting to take a snip of hair. It was like this group project. I really dug that.
Should have done that to Dr. Lucha.
Dr. Lucha,
and that happened the following. Was it the following week that we went to that? Yeah, because we went to that.
The very next week.
The very next week,
May 18th.
Yeah.
And tell the whole story, the setup of how Dr. Lucha put his hair up on the line.
I think it was the. I'm guessing February MPW show, right? Or January, one of those shows, where Steve went, and we were talking about whenever they set up the Amapola Estrellita match,
the hair match. Hair.
Before they set that up, you guys had an MPW show, and we were sitting down talking about it, and Steve tells me, "You know who's going to win? Amapola's going to win," and I said, "There's no way Estrellita's going to get her hair cut," and he's like, "No, you don't understand. I have sources. A source told me," and I go, "Your source is wrong," and we kept going back and forth about it, and then like on Twitter, I don't think we set it up there. I think it might have been on Twitter where we set it up, where I said, I'll put, because we kept going at it. Because Steve kept being very adamant that she was going to drop her hair.
Yes.
So it happened, and I think it was during Twitter, where he did a podcast with Brian, and he had talked about that also on that show, that he was going to do that she was going to win. Amapola was going to win. And we kept saying, "Oh, she's not going to win. Estrellita's going to win." So then I bet him on, this is something I do on Twitter a lot, where I'll bet you something, or, because, that's what you do when you're a guy. I'll bet you this guy's going to lose or whatever.
Absolutely.
So I told Steve, I'll bet you Estrellita's going to win that match. So then he said, I'll agree. Let's put our hair on the line. So I said, hey, let's not shave. Let's cut it into a mullet.
I love that.
So he agreed to it. And so I told him, so then the match happened. I told him he didn't have to do it, but he insisted he would do it. So we saw him, I think, in the March. I think it was March. Yeah, March.
It was the March
because they didn't. There was an April, a March MPW show, and he said he would do it the following show because it was going to be his birthday.
Yes.
Around his birthday or something like that. So then May 18th comes along, and as we're getting ready to go to this show, and Steve had already said he would do it, I get told by Dan that they're going to add it as part of a storyline, because I was curious how they were going to do it, because I thought it would be silly just to have him cut his hair. I just assumed he was going to cut his hair in the back by when somebody would cut it in the back. Mm-hmm. But then Dan tells me that it's going to be part of actually you told me that it was going to be part of a storyline. And then Dan explained the storyline.
Yes.
And then Dan starts saying that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Steve put his hair on the line based off of the Vandal Drummond Frankie D match. But the other person that's going to put his hair on the line is going to be me. And when he said that, I said, there's no way that would have happened. And he's like, I know. He's like, I know. That's what I figured. So we just decided to do Dr. Lucha. So then Dr. Lucha, they set it up where it was basically, he wrote in a sheet of paper. And
put in an envelope
yes,
and handed it to Dan.
To Dan, who would win the match between Vandal Drummond and Frankie D. Steve sat ringside the entire time. Looked very sad. I actually thought he was sad for real. Because the way he looked sad. And I was like, man, he really looks depressed. I hope he's not like...
And it was his birthday.
Yeah, that's what I think. I hope he's not having second thoughts or anything, because I would have told him, you don't have to do it. So then I told him even before that, you don't have to do it. But then actually before that, we went to what store was that we went to?
We went to CVS,
some store that we went to
buy some clippers.
So Steve, instead of getting clippers, gets a razor.
That's right.
Because he's figuring, hey, this not only will this cut my hair, it works great for to cut trim down my beard and stuff. So what they find out later is that that's not very good for your hair. So he decides he also got scissors too that day.
That was smart.
Yeah, so they used the scissors. What was it? So you guys end up having your match. Steve ends up picking you because you were the one that lost, right?
Yes, that's right. I borrowed from Mystico's brief heel run in CMLL, where Frank...
You guys almost didn't finish your match, though. I mean, you got...
God, that's scary. Oh, yeah, but... what is Frankie and I are having a battle of the Cavernarius. It's both of our finishing move is the Cavernaria invented by Cavernario Galindo.
Yeah.
And so I put the Cavernaria on him, and I'm giving it my all, and he slowly is working his way out of it and finally breaks it, and, we go back and forth, and then finally he slaps the Cavernaria on me, and as soon as he clamps it on, I just scream like a pussy and give up, and run away like a baby.
You missed. You didn't tell the part where you guys. You don't want to remember.
Wow, I know.
You want me to say it?
No, I'll say it.
Because it looked right away.
I was so scared.
Because I think Frankie didn't set up at first properly, and as soon as you saw the brief second of hesitation, you knew something was going to go wrong.
Yeah. I think what it is. Frankie's like early 40s, I think. Probably right around 40. He's in really good shape for his age, but he and we both have ring rust.
Yeah.
We're not wrestling on a regular basis. I mean, even when I watch footage of myself, I can see, my timing's off and a little off. Not dangerously or anything. But he likes doing that one that, Rey Mysterio was doing a number of years ago, where he dives off the rope and kitty corners over the other rope. I took the Negro Costas bump where he drop kicks me in the butt from the top of the turnbuckle to the floor. That went well. Then I see him doing it. I could see him hesitating, and not hesitating in his mind so much, but
more like he kind of just
physically. His
he messed up. He landed incorrectly or something. Wherever he was going.
He landed to the left of me, and I reached out, but I didn't reach out in time. I mean, I was a little slow in seeing that. He had not mistimed, but mismaneuvered, and he was off to my left, and he crash landed, and I was so scared he was, hurt badly.
Yeah.
And
That you proceeded to stomp on him. Just kidding.
I very lightly stomped on him, and then I made like I was choking him, asking, "Are you okay?" And he says, "I don't know yet."
Oh, really?
Man.
He was out?
And then... I got in the ring and just sauntered a bit, and people start yelling boring.
Yeah, and we want wrestling.
I know exactly. Yeah. My first instinct was to say, "Oh, screw all of you," but obviously that would have been immature of me. Then when I saw him get up on the apron, I could see that he was hurting, but he's going to be okay. And when we got back to the dressing room, he cracked open a couple of Modelos, and we started drinking, and all was well. But I really freaked out, and I told him, "Okay, next time we do a tope, you're just doing a simple tope through the ropes and nail me, where I am a target that you can't miss." If we were in the ring all the time, he would have been able to do that in his sleep.
Yeah, and that's what you notice when CMLL guys come over. They're so much like that show we went to, the UIPW show. You could tell the difference between Guerrero Maya Jr. and Bestia 666. Yes. All these guys who wrestle way more frequently. Plus, they're younger. But, I mean, they wrestle way more frequently compared to, a guy who maybe just wrestled once. That's his one show he wrestles because he's booked for that one show. Then he has to go to work or whatever. And you could tell the difference between how they...
It's very true. And the local boys who train regularly, as far as the Lucha guys go... I mean, they're training twice a week. They're usually getting gigs a week.
Yeah, and that's a lot of training for them here locally, but it doesn't compare to going to the Arena, Coliseo Arena, Mexico or whatever, every day having access to that.
So it's a reminder to me, in my older age and not doing it frequently, to keep the spot simple and don't try to show off when you're rusty.
And then, of course, Steve got his haircut by everybody.
That was fun, and that made the match fun, and... Yeah. So Frankie and I will be wrestling again, and we'll shoot the next.
And GQ Money gave you a compliment too at the end of the show. At the end of the show, right, or before your match?
Oh, did he?
He thought you were.
He thought I was 40. He thought I was 40, and I'm 51. Yeah, he's my best friend.
Yeah, he's your best friend now. If you could move him up on your Facebook page, you'd be number one.
Yeah, I'll be following him on Facebook for quite some time. Yeah. A show that I went to Thursday night.
Yeah.
The first time ever I checked out one of the shows that the Santino brothers put on in Bell Gardens. This is a really fun little place.
Chaos's group.
Yeah, Chaos's.
Speaking of Chaos, he went to the MPW show and tell the other story.
Yeah, Joey Chaos and Jezebel were there at the MPW show to check out GQ Money's retirement match. They get us Bo Cooper, and I have something in my Facebook album called the Airplane Spinning album, where it's just pictures of me giving people the airplane spin. So I asked Joey, could I pick you up for the airplane spin? So we got up, took the pick, and he says, could you do squats with me on the shoulders?
You did it afterwards.
And I said, well, let's see. And so I do 3 squats, and on the third one I hear this loud rip. From the belt buckle down to the leg, my shorts, my jeans were just ripped. My jorts.
You don't like calling them jorts, huh?
Jorts, yeah. My blue jean shorts were just ripped. And so, yeah.
Were they badly ripped? Did you?
Oh, I had to throw them out. There's no repairing these babies.
You didn't sew them?
It was funny. And the rip was so loud, it was almost like a sound effect. It was planned.
Did he hear it, or were you the only?
Everybody heard it. We all started laughing the moment it happened. But at Chaos's show, it's really cool. It's where
they trained
the students, and Chaos. It was the first time I seen him do his voodoo gimmick. Mm-hmm. It is so awesome, his gimmick. I swear he's channeling the late Screaming Jay Hawkins.
He does it at Lucha Vavoom, right? That's where he first started doing it?
That's the first time I ever saw the gimmick done. I remember when they did Lucha Vavoom tour, I remember seeing all the photos.
Yeah, the photos. That's
him.
The first time you saw it.
I thought, God, that looks really cool. And I triple that compliment. It is the coolest gimmick. The shows are really fun. I mean, this show reminded me very much of an old school TV studio taping from the late 60s or early 70s. It's refreshing. It's a really small place. I bet you only maybe 30 people, fit in there for an audience. The matches are solid. They don't go forever. They're not overdone high spot fests. The guys are really good workers. And it's $10 Thursday nights. If you check on Facebook, you can usually find the lineup. Got a lot of the guys on the local scene. I mean, not just the students. Kayam wrestled Lucha Machine, which was my personal favorite match. Let me first say, nothing sucked on the show. Every match was good, but I enjoyed watching an old school Lucha match that was a lot of mat work, and, a little bit of American style thrown in. And, as I say this, Kayam is probably the most enduring of the local luchadores. I think he started in the late 70s or 1980 maybe. I first saw him in 81.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of the few local boys who has been consistently working on a regular basis and working almost every chance he gets.
Is his brother still wrestling, or?
Yeah, his brother still wrestles.
Just not wrestling as often.
Not as often. I asked him where his bro was, and I think he's like an X-ray technician or something like that.
Oh, that's right. He's got a
nurse.
Yeah.
He works in a hospital.
Yeah, I remember that.
But he has he's still in action. But yeah, Kayam has that guy's been all over the place, and he is still very good. I mean, he's one of the few guys. It was funny. I went up to him after the match, and we're catching up and talking. And, most of the guys my age I talk to, they're saying, oh, wow, I'm hurting here, I'm hurting there. I'm going to have to call it quits pretty soon. What he told me was, oh, man, I had to take a quick break. I hate when I take a break because I start hurting everywhere. As long as I'm wrestling consistently, I feel like really good and in really good shape. And and I believe it too, because when I watch him wrestle, he does a really good, solid style, but he's not trying to take every bump known to mankind as people are wont to do these days.
He still has his full beard and all that stuff.
He's full beard.
Yeah. His hair and stuff.
He's
got an awesome look. I mean, people haven't seen his face.
Yeah, if he ever decided...
If he ever dropped his mask, he would be an awesome looking heel.
Yeah, he would be.
Kind of like a Colosetti looking kind of guy.
Yes,
kind of got a Colosetti.
That's a good way of putting it. That's an excellent way of putting it. He's a year older than I am, which shocked me.
Wow.
I thought...
Damn, he's old.
I know, yeah, he's very old. I'm 51. He's
Yes.
52.
Well, I mean, think about it. Negro Casas is what, 53 or something like that.
Yeah, but there's a few guys out there who are still
really, and he's still really good.
Yeah, you can learn from these guys. Seriously,
Yeah.
That's not just a joke. You
Yeah,
can
Kirk,
really
come on.
learn
You
from
should be.
these guys.
If you were in Mexico, you'd be a main eventer right now.
Absolutely
You'd
not.
You'd be pure oath. You'd be the new pure oath.
No, I'd be beaten down.
Yeah.
I'd be older than. I'd look a lot older if I was wrestling all the time.
Yeah. No, you probably wouldn't.
Anyway, that was a cool show. And just really briefly, not so much a lucha comment, but last night after I finished a plethora of errands during the day, I touched base with my friend Dan, because I decided
Dan Farron?
Yeah, Dan Farron. I just had to make an LA run and just kind of look around some of the wacky shops there, and called Dan to see if he wanted to do dinner, and he said, well, at the Story Salon at the Coffee Fix, Hank Garrett is there, and Hank Garrett is a guy who was a TV actor in the 50s and 60s.
Is this somebody I would have said, who's Hank Garrett?
You know what? You saw him?
Yeah, I saw him at the...
that one roller derby wrestling show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's... people who are mega TV fanatics from way back...
See, I wouldn't have said who's Hank Garrett. I would have said, oh, I remember this guy.
I know that guy.
I know that guy.
Yeah, but he's a guy who's done a lot of different stuff. He was a wrestler for a while in the 50s, I think through the late 60s. I guess he's best known for that show Car 54, Where Are You, which was a big hit in the early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he did a one-man show, a spoken word thing that was really enjoyable.
Oh, cool.
So I've actually had a lot of wrestling shoved into these last couple of weeks. It's probably the busiest I've been wrestling-wise for a while.
Yeah, did you hear June 1st, who's going to be here in East LA?
No, I didn't.
Atlantis and Ultimo Guerrero.
Really?
Yeah.
We must see if we're free.
June 1st. It's Kiss's promotion.
Oh, that might be worth checking out.
Yeah, they were asking me if I seen Kiss's kids. I think I saw the first one, the junior.
I don't know if I've ever seen the kids.
The third one, I didn't even know there was a third one.
I don't think I've ever seen any of the
Kiss ones. I've never been to Kiss. I would assume I've never been to one. I don't.
Yeah, the original Kiss.
I can't remember.
I remember seeing the original Kiss when he debuted, in 1981 in San Bernardino.
The only reason I knew that IPW was UIPW is because they mentioned it was called that. Because we go to lucha shows. It's like I don't know what show this is.
Oh yeah, there's so many lucha shows. If you're a lucha nut, Southern California is the place to be. There's hordes of shows going on every weekend.
And it's weird because people always ask, what's the name of the promotion or whatever. It's like, it really doesn't have a name.
I don't know, it's the one at the Boys Club or the one at the Armory.
Did we talk about Rocky passing away?
We have to talk about that, and I'm actually...
Because I don't even think...
I'm actually embarrassed to say we haven't already brought this up after...
Have we even done a podcast since then?
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we did one in April, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rocky Ramon, who promoted throughout Southern California since the late 1980s.
1980s?
No,
Really?
1980s.
1990s. 1998, wasn't it? 1998.
Man, I'm making a train wreck of this podcast.
If somebody's listening to this, they're like, oh my god, how dare this guy.
No, I
He's typing in the email and deletes everything that he's going to type.
No, Rocky started promoting in the late 1990s, and I really only met him a few times because that was right around the time when I was getting serious about school and full-time work and just trying to, not do so much. But he started promoting Compton at the salon where Platino used to promote. And from there, he became one of the regular fixtures as far as people who were promoting shows. Promoted some pretty impressive shows throughout the years.
For a long time. I mean, what was it, from 98 to 2013? 15 years? 15 years? That's about 15 years.
Yes. So
he also worked with Bart in City of Industry.
That's right.
Some of the early shows, he would bring in, like, Alley Park, Shocker,
yes.
Mr. Aguila. Then the later shows with Mil Mascaras, Blue Panther. That show we went to was co-promoted by him, I think.
I didn't realize he was part of that.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, but he worked with a lot of different people in the Southland, and he even did. Was it Chicago where he even?
Chicago. I think there was some shows in Texas also. Mm-hmm. He did a lot of shows outside of the. I think even Colorado. Wasn't there a show in Colorado?
Yes, there was.
I think there was.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who really. There's a lot of people who start and stop and start and stop. But he's somebody who really kept his promoting feet busy. This last year he did one of those things where nobody ever thought would happen, where
CMLL AAA guys would work on the same show.
And we both, you and I both look back in embarrassment because we thought about going to the show, but we thought, what are the odds everybody's going to show up?
Yeah, because I think we started talking about it in December, and then the first thing we said is, what are the odds of these guys all showing up? And then we were like, let's not worry about it. And then it happens, and like, holy shit, it actually happened.
It was a success. And it was no easy task to get people from both AAA and CMLL on.
And now apparently it happens more often, so it's not a...
But he was one of the first.
Yeah, he was basically the first guy.
Yeah, and I wish I could say more in detail about him because almost everybody in the Southland who's worked the indie scene for any great period of time knows him better and could tell you more about him. But he's somebody who got the machine rolling and didn't slow down. It was very sudden and unexpected. He was about to promote a show. Was it in Pico Rivera?
Yeah, I think May 11th or something like that.
And out of the blue, it got canceled just a few weeks ahead of time. When we were at the show in East LA...
Because I told you the day before we were going to the show in East LA about him being sick.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and we were curious what it was. And when we saw Superboy at the East LA show, he said that there were complications from a surgery he was having down in Tijuana. And it was serious and touch and go at the time, but at the time, I guess they thought he was going to be okay. Yeah. They thought there would be a complete recovery.
I guess he got out because he posted on Facebook something. I don't know if it's him that posted it or somebody because
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about what the exact cause was and stuff, but I think everybody's in a bit of a a lot of people were in quite a bit of shock about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just want to give a salute to the guy because I never worked for him and only met him on a few occasions. But he's somebody who made a lot of things happen in Southern California. And just want to give the guy a salute.
Yeah. We should talk about AAA now.
Yes, we've talked a lot about
we've talked about
indie wrestling. We've talked a lot about my horrible delivery tonight. Yeah. We've talked about the indie scene a lot.
Your singing pretty much ruined the show.
I always ruin the show. I by stammering. I listened to our last podcast and I've gotten to the bad habit of going and I don't know why I'm suddenly doing that.
Because you're trying to remember everything, I think.
Probably.
And that's
I should just let myself forget, and maybe I will.
At least you noticed it, and maybe you'll stop doing it.
Yes.
That's the important thing. If you're if you're noticing it, it means you're probably just going to stop doing it at some point.
That's true. So, that's true. So
because there's people, some people get that something that they always say. And it stays with them, and you don't know, you can't tell them, oh, dude, you shouldn't do that or whatever.
You know what? There would be a great computer app where if you attach it to yourself, and every time it hears the audible, because it lights up. Wouldn't that be so?
There's people who they'll be telling you something, and they'll say, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, you've already said it. I know what you're saying, but it's just out of habit that they say, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I think I used to say, a lot.
Yeah.
I can't remember when it was, but I was doing, and somebody finally said, yeah, I know. And
you're like, oh, shit.
I didn't even realize I was doing it.
It was Dave Meltzer that did this.
Of course, because he's so mean, and he's such a bully.
Yes, Dave Meltzer did.
He likes to hurt people, and he never smiles. He doesn't laugh. So, I'm sorry?
He wouldn't have even noticed. I mean, he's in his own world.
He's so focused.
Yes, it's like
he's tunnel.
He wouldn't even notice.
This is something, and this is.
I was remember the time you told me he called me when Dave Meltzer called me, and I called him back, and I felt like such a moron because my message. I'm listening to what I'm saying. I sound like such a moron. Trying to explain to him that I sent him the email, but it just came out like this long, hey Dave, and I was like, okay, that sounded.
That's not
because it just sounds like blah 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 blah.
But that's how he talks. He talks rapid fire, and he'll do long pauses.
But see, he knows how to leave his number, let you know who it is. I don't do that. I just started, hey Dave, this is Fredo calling you back and doing all this stuff.
But when you're talking about his tunnel vision, now anybody who knows him has seen him do this on numerous occasions. He's focused on whatever he's writing or what he's thinking about, and you're conversing with him, and you crack a joke, and you hear this 5-second delay, and then he bursts out laughing. It's like he's still thinking about the other stuff, then he processes what you just said, and he just starts laughing, like, oh my god, that's funny.
I'm just amazed at how much time he spends writing.
I know.
That's a lot.
All the words he's put on paper.
And all the mistakes he gets. He does. I was laughing because he wrote the En Busca de un Ídolo, the entire, like, just a little info on it.
Yes.
And it was all wrong.
No way.
Not all wrong, but it was like the major points were kind of wrong. It's like, he kind of has some of the stuff wrong. But, nobody's really, nobody who
Well, as much...
Anybody who follows Lucha, who reads his news, already knows where to find it.
Yes.
Or already understands what the stuff is. So.
Well, and he's covering such a wide array of things now. I don't know where he gets the time to focus on as much as he does. I mean, he has to be deep into the mixed martial arts.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, people tend to forget that he's focusing not just in mixed martial arts, not just pro wrestling mixed martial arts, but he's focusing on all these other, like, the niche within the promotion, like the sub promotions, all this other stuff that he's not covering wrestling, he's covering lucha and Japanese wrestling, indie wrestling. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, when like if you cover one thing, it's not as difficult, and it's still a lot of work. Like if you're covering lucha libre.
About 2 years ago, I was in the dressing room at an indie show. I like the guy, so I'm not going to mention his name. But he was saying, yeah, everybody says how much Dave Meltzer knows, but he never covers our shows down here. I just said, do you know how many promotions there are throughout the United States? How many indie shows there are?
Just LA alone, there's at least 3 or 4.
But I've met several people who actually think that there's a lot of promotions in California and there's no other promotions throughout the country.
Yeah.
Every state now has God knows how many indie promotions.
And there's so many that come and go. There's so many that come and go, too. I mean, you're not just counting the promotions that exist. There's so many other...
Oh, yeah. Wrestlers have bred like cockroaches in the last 20 years. There used to be a handful of indie wrestlers in every region. Now there's indie wrestlers everywhere in the country.
Well, just covering Japanese wrestling. I mean, if you just cover New Japan Pro Wrestling, that's a lot.
Yes.
And there are sites, like a lot of the Japanese there's like some guys who are from here or from Australia or England or whatever, and they decide they're just going to cover one promotion because it's a lot of work. If you're going to cover every single promotion, it's a lot of work that you're going to do.
I would love it if I didn't have to work 9 to 5 because I could watch a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
It would have been my dream when I was younger.
Yeah. Nowadays, you probably wouldn't anyways.
No, I probably wouldn't anyways. I dig my CMLL. I dig my AAA. And
you don't watch AAA. Don't lie.
I did watch the Blue Demon match.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We just talked about that.
I just want to briefly say, then we'll get into the news. It had been ages since I saw Blue Demon Jr., and I was a little surprised how smooth he looks these days, and how over he is. I mean...
Well, he's new to the promotion, too, so...
Okay, because I wasn't sure. I don't remember him...
He hasn't been there in a while.
Back in the day when I saw him regularly, I actually think he's a better worker than he was back then.
I think he's actually gotten better.
Yeah, and I was surprised, because a lot of guys will just rest on their laurels, but that was the most over I've seen him.
Here's the thing with Blue Demon Jr. He's good, but his opponent makes him that much better.
Gotcha.
Because he's actually good. It's not... Just because you don't think he's the greatest worker doesn't mean you hate him.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people tend to like, oh, you must hate him because you don't think he's good. No. You also have to point out the opponent. I mean, if he's in there with Blue Panther, if he's in there with Hijo Santo, or he's in there with El Mesias, he's going to have a great match. But if he's in there with Cibernetico, there's only so much he can do. Yeah. And, even that, he could probably pull off a good match because Cibernetico brings a lot of charisma.
I have no grudge for a wrestler who, if he can just slap on a headlock and make the crowd pop.
Yeah. Certain guys
that's fine with me.
That's what separates a really good worker from a good worker. A really good worker can have a good match. Like Nero Casas can have a good match with a really bad wrestler, or he could have a good match with Angel de Oro, who is an okay high flyer but doesn't really do a lot.
He could make him look.
That much better.
Yes.
But then you'll see him against somebody else, and it's like, what's the difference between Angel de Oro and Fuego and all these other dudes that are here? And it really is Negro Casas when they're in a match with Negro Casas. Although Fuego's much better than Angel de Oro.
Yes.
Have you seen Fuego recently?
I have seen Fuego recently.
He's really good.
And I like him.
Yeah, he's good.
And I do like Angel de Oro, and I hope he continues to improve. I really just dig him.
He's injured right now, I think. I think he had a leg injury or something. He's taking like a couple months off.
Now, the news in AAA right now centers along...
Triplemania. They're setting up Triplemania I think it's in 2 weeks, is it? 3 weeks? June 16th. Triplemania 21. Are you good with Roman numerals? You know, once they get past 30,
yeah,
I'm pretty much done.
It's gonna be Triplemania XXI. Yeah.
I always laugh because the Super Bowl, I think once they got past like a certain number, I can't tell you the numbers. Like,
it's Super Bowl 2013.
2013. That's the two. Like, I don't even remember. Yeah, that show, Triplemania, we already knew the main event they set up like, I think last in December, I think.
That's smart.
They set it up a long time ago. At least they started teasing that going back to then. And then they finally set it up, I think, in February or March to finally set it. So it's basically them just feuding or talking about their match. It's going to be Perro Aguayo Jr. versus Cibernetico in a hair match. Which I'm fun. Challenging Steve Sims to another hair match, so you better grow it. Just kidding.
You better grow one, Steve Sims.
Grow some more hair.
Well, how about if he loses the bet this time that we find a pair of barber shears and, Mohawk.
Yes. Mohawk versus Mohawk match.
Are you up for it? Now, you know Vandal Drummond won't put up his hair.
That's the main event. The semi-main event is actually Hijo de Tejano. Why does it say Hijo de Tejano Jr.? I'm used to hearing him say Tejano. No, it's the same thing.
It is, yes.
Tejano Jr. He goes by both. Against the winner of Heavy Metal versus Chessman. Mm-hmm. That originally was going to be Heavy Metal versus Tejano Jr. I'm guessing at some point they figured that wasn't enough. So they threw in Chessman to challenge Tejano. So what they're going to do is Chessman versus Heavy Metal. And I guess Tejano would get the weekend opponent.
Okay.
The more weak opponent. You know, kind of like that, I'm going to beat this guy up. Beat him and
very cool.
Because I think the whole idea is to build
He'll
up.
Be vulnerable.
I think what I'm thinking is the plan is they're going to build up Tejano to where Blue Demon Jr. ends up being the champion next year.
I see.
Or whenever they get the TV, because I'm guessing they're going to want Blue Demon as their first champion when they come to the US.
That would be cool. That'd be smart.
No, I'm just assuming that because he has the sponsorship and all that stuff, or he had the sponsorship. Then there is a decision match for the AAA Latin American heavyweight title. That's the Blue Demon Jr. versus Macias match. That's the title that I think was vacated by LA Park leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were telling me there was kind of an aborted LA Park Dr. Wagner.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because that has something to do with this. There's also, they've announced a 5-way tag match for the vacant AAA tag team titles. I don't know if you remember, Joe Leader and Vampiro were the tag champs.
I don't.
Going back in December, I think they won them.
Okay.
One of those shows back then. And they never defended them. They never took a... They just never defended. They were the standing champions, and I guess they must have talked to Vampiro or something, and he decided that he wasn't going to defend them or whatever. So they vacated them. Or maybe they just figured, why have Vampiro and Joe Leader as
Why not put them on somebody else?
Yeah, somebody who actually is a cool-looking tag team. So the tag teams, this is actually pretty good... They have Crazy Boy and Joe Leader reuniting as they were the Mexican powers.
Very cool.
Drago is teaming with Phoenix.
Who should still be the ever-ready cat.
And that would actually look cooler.
Wouldn't it?
Gato Ever-Ready with Phoenix. They have Drago's fine. I'm perfectly... Because the guy's a good worker. They have Halloween teaming with the original Psychosis. Although, I thought Daga was in this match. I guess they pulled Daga. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing. I can't see the rest of it. No, I'm guessing they pulled Daga. And Angelico teaming with Jack Evans. Have you seen Angelico?
I have not seen Angelico.
It's a blonde dude from Spain, I think, or South America. I think he's from somewhere around there. He's all right. Mm-hmm. He's all right, but I mean, the thing is, like, if you can at least do certain things, you'll look good. Yes, and then Jack Evans can carry the thing. There's another story of Jack Evans. I don't think you heard about it.
No, I haven't.
This is good. This is gossip.
For a while.
Jack Evans posts on Twitter. He writes, I just want everybody... He posted it on Twitter because he has it hooked up to his Facebook. I just want everyone to know that Silver King is a bitch.
What?
Let me look for it.
Why
think I
did he put that up?
Here, it's on his Facebook page. I'll look it up. Yeah, he's in that match. I'll tell you the rest of it. The other tag team in that is a tag team out of Puerto Rico named Los Mamitos. Mm-hmm. Sexy E and Mr. E and Sexy B. Yeah, I'm off.
Doesn't that sound like the name of a
The drug?
Like a tag team from Japan, from
Los
DDT
Mamitos?
or something like
Los
that.
Mamitos?
Los Sexy E and something.
Oh, that's... Yeah, if you don't include Los Mamitos.
Yeah.
Los Mamitos is basically kind of like what they're doing with Los Mireyes in AAA.
Okay.
That would be what that is in Puerto Rico. Like a cool-looking dudes who act... Yeah. Here, I'll look for it. It was so funny because he wrote it, and then everybody started asking him, why are you writing? Like, trying to get more out of it, and then he wrote more about it. Oh, where is it?
It's been lost. Will I have to sing Jenny Archer
here it is.
over again while he...
Never in my life have I met a bigger bitch than Silver King. Just thought you all should know.
Do we know the story behind this?
I guess he must be the rat, the guy who tells the snitch, the locker room snitch. Yeah, so he must have
snitched on him. It's so wise to put stuff like that on Twitter, though.
Well, I mean, if you're not... I mean, Jack Evans isn't afraid of...
No, I'm not afraid, but it's a good way... There's so many people get pink slips because they just have to put something on Twitter, not just in wrestling.
Yeah, but if you've read Jack Evans... Times. I'll tell you one thing. If you've read Jack Evans' Facebook page, he doesn't care about... He's one of those guys who doesn't really care.
And they must value him.
He's a guy who, like... I mean, remember, like, I think 2 years ago when his contract was up, he wrote 1 year more or something like that, like in jail or something. He made it sound like he was in jail.
Oh, God.
Like, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. So, I mean, he's not somebody who's, like, afraid of that. But I just thought it was funny that he wrote that. And then he wrote that
they must think highly
Silver
of
King
him.
is a rat. And from now on, he was going to call him Rata de Plata. Which is a great name. I think that should be a new gimmick, Rata de Plata.
Oh, I'd love to take that gimmick and pay residuals to Jack Evans if I could. Well, I've said it before. You know, I'm not a fan of just playing out spot fest, but Jack Evans is an exception because when he flies, it's his own flying. It can be trademarked the way.
Well, see, and that's what I like about that team with that Angelico. They have a certain look where it works with them. Because he does they both do a lot of, but Jack's more polished at doing the high flying.
Right.
Whereas Angelico just has the good looks. Girls are going to like him and everything. Yeah.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah, and then the opening match is your usual Relevos de Locura, the midget, the tranny, the woman in the middle.
Which I think rocks.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Elegido, Fabi Apache, Dinastia, who's really good, and Pipinella Scarlata versus Silver King, speaking of Silver King, Taya Valkyrie, Mini Abismo Negro, who's really good, and Black Mamba, the tranny.
Awesome.
The one that looks like a girl. We just had this conversation on Twitter.
Now, knowing me, I would buy my ticket to see Triplemania. I'd see that opening match. I was like, okay, I can go home now.
Sure, let me show you.
I saw what I want to see.
Now, you tell me if you saw Black Mamba.
Okay. Oh, here,
I'll get the old photos.
Moving over to the couch, I'm getting older, so it takes me longer to get to the face.
Does this not look like a woman?
That looks like a woman. My God. Does he look like that in every photo?
No, there's some. He posted some photos that when he was before he would look like. I'm guessing he might be transitioning or something. But I mean But he's as a guy. He's not He kind of has feminine.
He looks very
features,
feminine.
Yeah.
And he also looks like if he wanted to look like a dude, he could look like a handsome pretty boy type.
He kind of looks like He looks like somebody that worked in CMLL. God damn. He kind of looks like Zorro.
Yeah,
like the AAA, like the Zorro, like the look when he's as a guy.
Right. No, that one picture though. I mean, it's like no, whenever we see a picture of Amanda, you know that.
Yeah. Well, you should.
I mean, she looks. I mean, she looks great.
Don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble, Kurt.
Oh no, you know what I mean, though. I mean,
don't get in trouble, Kurt. You don't want to get in trouble locally.
Amanda looks wonderful, but you can tell, it's a granny. You know?
But this guy, I mean, look at that.
That's amazing. She pulls it off.
Yeah.
Is he going for the whole operation? Do you know? Is he gonna, or is he?
Oh, I haven't asked him.
All right. Tell him that.
You want me to friend him on Facebook and have everybody question me?
Okay, well here's the thing.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing. Just in case Elena wises up and leaves me,
I still remember.
I want my options open.
I still remember liking something that movie Los Exoticos. And then Jose Fernandez sends me he read, oh really, or something. And I'm like, dude, seriously, dude, it's a lucha thing. Relax. But it's just one of those things where you don't really think about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm not that type of person who thinks about that. You know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I like that. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a.
I hope to stay with Elena forever, but you know, if I have to get on the dating field again, I want somebody younger. You know,
Kurt's interested in Black Mamba. Oh my God, this is getting worse.
Well, hey, I'm 51. I can't be picky. I cannot be picky.
You're just creeping us out now. What were you asking me to go back to? The La Parca, Dr. Wagner.
Yes.
There might be another trios match. Oh, there is going to be a trios match. It's going to be AAA versus Consejo and El Toreo. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a trios match or what, but it's Viano 4 leading the Coliseo, Consejo, and
Viano 4,
Toreo.
who I still to this day refer to as the artist formerly known as Antonio Pena.
Tony Pena.
Tony Pena, remember that one
Yeah,
WCW match?
Yeah, and it's going to be him, and I don't know who's going to be on his side. I'm guessing Kanek and all those. Actually, I think it is probably going to be Kanek and probably his brother. It's Viano 4's brother, Ray Mendoza Jr. versus La Parca, the La Parca from AAA, and Octagon, I think, and a surprise luchador.
Okay.
And the surprise luchador, everybody assumes it's going to be Dr. Wagner Jr. coming back.
Right.
Because he's basically... the whole thing that was going on with him and LA Park pretty much failed. They're not going to get the money for the mask match.
I'm actually surprised. Did it just not go over with the fans, or was it? What's the story with that?
Well, it's 2013. I mean, there's no money to.
Yeah.
If you're not in AAA or CMLL, you're not going to get that type of money.
That's true.
Or if you're not getting a money mark, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
And Santos shows don't. I mean, Santos shows I think draw basically whatever CMLL draws on a low, on a week Friday show.
So Dr. Wagner is back in the AAA mode. Then.
Yeah, and LA Park remains a hippie.
God bless him.
He wants to be free like a hippie.
Oh man, he is awesome.
You know, the only thing
he said that, I'm a fan of.
I kind of think he should consider, like, I don't think. And here's the thing with Dr. Wagner Jr. He didn't have options.
He doesn't have option, but he is.
He has no option with CMLL.
He is a brave player, though. I mean,
but I mean the way he tries to work out his deals, that's not a. If you're dealing with guys who are old school, they don't see it that way. They don't see the.
I don't think he's necessarily the smartest player in the biz, but he
reacts. He's a reactive. He's a guy who reacts, and it kind of sometimes it screws him up. Because CMLL, I was thinking about this. While Hijo de Santo, it's more of a money issue. Mm-hmm. With Dr. Wagner Jr., I mean, he did that march. Remember, he did that little like march against CMLL. I go, that's something, and then he complained about it all the time, to the point where, I mean, one of the first times Paco Alonso talked was right after Dr. Wagner Jr. left, and he actually like wasn't very happy with him. Yes. So it's like, can't be that happy. I'm just curious if they would be interested in LA Park, but I don't think LA Park would want to work there, like, because he wants to be free.
Yeah.
Because I just think LA Park versus Rush would be so awesome.
That would be really cool.
Or versus Terrible. That would actually be pretty bad.
It could happen, but I mean, if he can make a living just kind of doing what he wants to do, I mean, that's hard to do in this business, but if he can
the thing is, before dealing with the person I'm dealing with in CMLL, I always assumed CMLL handled the bookings for them. But I think a lot of the wrestlers can handle their own bookings. So I think LA Park could probably just go there, and when he's available, he could work.
That would be wonderful.
And he could just book himself out wherever.
I personally would love to see him in the CMLL mix. And your mention of a Rush versus...
Yeah, because I mean, it's a different group of guys. It's a different group of guys. And I mean, CMLL, the problem is like it gets really stale with the guys that they have.
It does.
So it's like...
At times.
Yeah,
Although I feel like I did a few months ago, is what I'm seeing, it seems like they're really motivated these days, the workers.
Yeah, but I mean... They throw in some guys who you're just like, how are they throwing these like Thunder?
Oh my God! There we go. Yeah,
Puroth Jr. Or New Puroth. I mean, it's like they always have to ruin something. Like they had a match where the I think it was the third match was Hijos del Averno, who are established main event guys.
Yes.
Versus Blue Panther, Ray Cometa, and Stuka Jr. Who just main evented the biggest show of this year for CMLL? Ray Cometa and Stuka Jr. Isn't that a main event match?
That should
be. Blue Panther's a main event guy, basically.
Absolutely.
Or at least a fringe main event guy now, but I mean, still.
And Ray Cometa and Stuka Jr., I think they should be pushing these guys to the moon.
Rey Cometa should be a main eventer, period. I mean, he should be wrestling Negro Casas. He should be the guy who takes Negro Casas' belt.
And I know I always ask this question.
Why are they not doing it?
No.
You want me to explain?
I don't even know. I don't ask that question because one thing I've learned from just following wrestling and even being around indie groups, from the indie groups to the top dogs in the world, never ask why are they doing this, because who knows why they're doing it. People go crazy at some point when they promote wrestling. And my question right now is the booking. The booker or the booking committee, either or, is it still the same mix as it was?
It's basically the same mix with maybe one new guy or whatever, like thrown in.
Gotcha.
But I'm guessing it's like one of those level type of things where the guys who have been there the longest, they still call the final shots.
Okay.
So you basically got Franco Colombo,
Panico,
Jose Luis Feliciano. I mean, Panico, when they said he might be phased out, I mean, that doesn't mean he's out of the booking.
Exactly.
It could be like something like, like guys leave booking, but they're still involved in the backstage and stuff like that. They're still going to have word. Doesn't mean that they're not involved. It just means they don't want to hear the headaches, the weekly headaches and stuff like that. But I mean, then you have Ultimo Guerrero, Blue Panther, guys like that, and you don't really know what they're doing. They're probably
sounds like they have too many cooks.
Yeah, and I'm guessing those aren't the only guys involved. Because I'm guessing there has to be. I'm guessing somebody from the Alvarado or Casas family. One of them has to be, or a couple of them have to be involved in there.
Well, it's funny sometimes when you hear the interviews with Bruno Sammartino on Dave and Brian's show, is he will talk about the days when Buddy Rogers had his clique of wrestlers.
Yeah, it's something like that.
And he's trying to watch out for them, and then somebody else has their clique. But what seems different, I mean, maybe there was a whole crew of people we didn't hear about, but it seems like they really only had a few guys calling the main shots, back in those days. And everywhere it seems like there's a booking committee, and there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and it just... Yeah, I think there's too much potential to lose focus. But my question, I don't know if you know this, or if somebody we know knows this, has this always been this way in Mexico? Has there always been like a...
I'm guessing, I mean, it's probably something that's been going on with wrestling.
Yeah,
because, I mean, you always have guys leaving. Remember when the UWA, when they broke up, it was probably some sort of situation like that, so...
So Mexico could be the one who really set the scene for having, like... a huge number of bookers. Well, plus Mexico was... If you look back in those old magazines from the 60s and 70s, there was a lot more wrestling in Mexico than there was here. I mean,
and there's always guys who bring in somebody, and that means that guy has some sort of power involved. And, it's like with AAA, Conan... Remember, we always used to, well, not us, but, people tend to blame Conan if something bad happens, or they blame Dorian Roldan. But it's usually a group of people, because, I mean, there's no way... Conan would have Los Reyes, that gimmick, and he wouldn't have all those exoticos.
He wouldn't.
Because he's not the type of person...
he doesn't like them.
There's certain stuff that you could tell, if you watch AAA, you're like, okay, he doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah. Now, you know me, the exoticos and the midgets would be on top if it were Michael.
Well, I don't know if he doesn't like
the midgets would hold the heavyweight championship.
I don't think he hates the exoticos. Mm-hmm. I think he hated because they were bringing a lot of the exoticos who weren't really good. Because there's a huge difference.
No, that's a good point,
Black Mamba is good.
Yeah.
Eurico is good.
Yeah.
Pimpinela Escarlata is really good.
He's awesome.
Cassandra is
still
great.
My favorites are Pimpinela.
But then when you bring in Polvo de Estrellas and guys like that, it's like, okay, those are just your fringe guys. Those are guys
that is
although
true.
I kind of dig Polvo de Estrellas because he looks like a pudgy, small gold dust, pudgy. Like if you wanted to Mexicanize Dustin Runnels, that's what he would look like.
Get him and Maximo to feud.
Yeah.
But Conan sounds like he's not really a fan of it, and he's not a fan of the stripper gimmick either.
He doesn't like the stripper gimmick. That's the one.
The stripper gimmick's cool, and you hear the pop every time El Ejido drops his trunks. You hear the ladies go nuts. I mean, that's a boon if you're trying to diversify your audience.
I like it. It gets annoying when that becomes like the focal point where it's like, because there's some points where I think CMLL might have done it they still do it when Alex Kozlov was doing the stop. And then he would do his little remove it whatever or do his pose, and Corleone started doing that, and all these other guys and now it's part of the show. They all do that. Yeah, so sometimes it gets overkill. But Latin Lover, when he would get attacked by those Vipers, I always dug that. He would start stripping and somebody would attack him as he's stripping.
That's awesome.
which I always thought was a cool spot. But I mean, it all comes down to overkill. If you don't overkill the gimmick, that's what it That's what it all comes down to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, Kei Monita will wear the heavyweight championship if I ever get the booking control.
no, Mihei will be the. And it's so funny. I still haven't asked Guerrero Maya Jr. to leave Mihei alone. I've had like all these conversations, and I still haven't told him.
I love it.
I gotta tell him. I'll tell him next time.
Okay, well, there's the...
That was my whole... we transitioned to me trying to get Guerrero Maya Jr. stop hurting Mihei.
Yeah, well, we'll start a campaign on Facebook to do so.
Well, we gotta talk about CMLL. Nakamura is in Shinsuke Nakamura is in CMLL, and his very first debut of being on TV. It's not his debut because he's been there before. Was the Terra.com in live stream. Mm-hmm. The introduction is him and Negro Casas, Felino, Zacharias Perico, and the girls and the announcer, and they're all dancing.
I haven't watched that. Is that the clip you sent me?
Yes, that's the clip.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh my goodness, how could you not watch that?
Is it the Peste Negra theme song?
Yes, it's the Peste Negra theme song. Here, I'll show you right now. I'll go on your Facebook.
You guys get to listen. You're going to listen to something I get to see. So all of you listening to the LuchaWorld Podcast, I get to enjoy it, but you can't get to see it. You just have to listen to it. There's a picture of me with GQ money. There's Spectre and that's when Samantha she was teaching the boys Kama Sutra moves in the dressing room.
Wonderful.
We all learned a lot from her. She's very talented and she's smart, intelligent.
The show just went silent.
Nah, this will boost our ratings.
Posts on here.
I got a lot of posts, yes.
There's the hair.
Messages from my pal Karen Merritt.
There it is.
Stuff Fredo posted. This is awesome.
I gotta click the...
Terra. Here it is. It's coming. Isn't this entertaining, folks?
This is the entertaining portion of the show.
You get to...
As we watch videos and nobody knows what we're doing.
Yeah, you guys are bored to death and we're enjoying this. This is... Okay, let's see. We're going to lose all our audience.
Look at Nakamura.
Oh, that's great.
Let me fix the...
Oh, he looks like the freshman who's trying to get the feel of it. Yeah, this is great.
Look at Zachary.
Oh, he's getting into it. This is wonderful. Did he say precious? No. Nakamura. This guy rocks. This is golden. Okay.
It's not like as precious like gracias. He said gracias. But look at Aaron Casas the whole time.
This is so cool. Cuatro Corrientes. See, I can't even pronounce that right. Cuatro Corrientes.
He's just standing. He's still dancing.
He's still dancing. He's oblivious.
Yes. I mean, come on. He's wearing a parrot suit.
Okay, everybody. CMLL, Terra, 5/12/2013. Look it up on YouTube. Pesta Negra, Nakamura.
Con la presencia del gran campeón mundial Nakamura directamente de Tokio, Félix, el más rápido del planeta, y nuestra mascota junto con esta belleza, Julio. ¿Qué te parece? Perfecto, señores. Por esa ocasión, pero negrito, ¿por qué no le damos la bienvenida al estilo mexicano a Nakamura?
Oh my god. This is sweet.
Por supuesto.
Okay, I want people to know.
Oh, look at the sandwich. They're doing he asked for a sandwich.
Oh my
But look at where Felino goes. Rather than go in between the girls, he goes right next to his brother.
Oh my god, it's gonna be a Lucky Pierre. They're gonna do a Lucky Pierre in the ring. This is so cool. Oh my god. I know everybody who's listening is probably bored to death and doesn't know what's going on here, but you must watch this. Oh, okay, I'm gonna, okay, oh man. I'm gonna repost it again.
Calm down.
Okay, I want to say Nakamura.
Yeah, Nakamura.
Best thing to happen to CMLL. I want to say Negro Casas, best worker in the world ever. Ever, I say.
And Nakamura's the greatest dancer ever?
Yes, exactly. CMLL Promotion of the Year, just for that. I'm serious.
But he actually had a really good match. He had a good match. He worked the trios match with teamed with Felino and Negro Casas.
That's so cool.
I think it was Sombra and a couple of other guys.
Wow.
Mascara Dorada, I think.
A lot of good stuff going on in CMLL.
I could have just checked on the
I love
thing.
CMLL. Despite their...
Despite Thunder and...
Now,
Heroes.
let's briefly revisit Thunder. What's the story? Because I just watched the good stuff. I don't do enough surfing. Is he still part of the mix, or what?
Yeah, of course he is.
What are they
just showed
thinking? What the are they thinking?
They're not thinking.
Oh boy!
It's. Here, let me look for it.
I mean, the monster looked like Ric Flair compared to that guy. And I like the monster, but he was a terrible worker. But my God, this Thunder dude. Wow. Well, there's a
Oh, you're not going to be impressed with Puro.
Okay. Well, maybe we should give our listening audience a break from the visuals. I want to see this when we're done with the show, though. I want to see some.
Mascara Dorada, Rush, and Titan, which is actually a pretty good trio. Mm-hmm. That was actually a good match.
Very cool.
Really good match.
And any other major news for CMLL right now these days?
The tournament. Of course, there's a tournament. What do you expect?
Well, you know how that
the
tournament
En
is.
Busca de un Ídolo tournament, which you haven't even watched the single match. It's great. It's they're basically using a lot of guys who are like, I mean, supposedly they're guys who are trying to move up to main event status, but I mean, Valiente is basically a main eventer. Mm-hmm. Stuka Jr. is borderline main event guy, and then the rest of the guys, the rest of the guys aren't main event guys, but they're guys who have been around for a long time. So they what it is basically, that's 4 teams, 4 Rudos, 4 Technicos. Each team has a captain as a coach and I guess a captain or manager, and they're judged. Every match is judged by 4 judges, and the judges are usually, I think, Super Porky, Ultimo Guerrero, Tony Salazar, and Tirantes. Mm-hmm. Tirantes is coming back from the previous season. Yes. The last year. And the matches, they're basically your range between good to very good or average. They're nothing too it's a lightning match. But the highlight is the judging, where these guys just rip these guys new ones, where it's like basically the only guy who hasn't been
American Idol,
yes,
Simon Cowell.
But only Tirantes is like the meanest motherfucker you're ever going to find.
Simon Cowell.
Yes, but he's even like,
wow.
he's the only guy who's gotten positive reviews is Valiente. Nobody has said shit about Valiente, but he's basically a main event guy already. Mm-hmm. And he really is the only guy who's good. That's good in where he's not going to, he never has a bad, he doesn't have bad matches.
Yes.
He's one of those guys. So they get to all these different guys. Mysterioso Jr. It's basically Mysterioso Jr.
You did tell me about this, yes.
Who gets absolutely brutalized by these guys for being first thing, they hate his jacket. He comes into like one of those those jackets that you wear, those guys who are cleaning the streets or something.
Yes.
Or fixing. He wears a jacket like that.
It's like a sanitary worker's jacket. Yeah.
So it says Mysterio. So as soon as this is the first time he showed up. It was the last week. And he shows up. Super Porky's like, I hate your jacket. I think you don't have a presence and all this stuff. And he starts, and Mysterioso Jr. starts like, he doesn't care. So he acts like he doesn't care. So then all of a sudden they start going down the line. Ultimo Guerrero and him are from the same, he's one of the Laguneros. So he's harsh, but he's not totally harsh on him. They get to Tony Salazar, he rips him. Tirantes just rips him a new one. It's just like all this stuff about how shitty his gear looks, how he never reached the fans, and he's like, he gave him like a really low score, and as he leaves, he hits the table. He just bangs the table and just leaves. And like the last show, which was he wrestled on Friday, Tirantes gave him a 1, which is like the worst. Oh, and Tirantes' high score is a 4. He's like, he tells Valiente, I'm going to give you the highest score I could give possible. And he gives him a 4. And he had just given somebody else a 4. And like, it's like, dude, a 4? Seriously? And they're doing not only is the judges voting, but there's a fan vote on a website. They created a website called embuscadeunidolo.com where you can vote. Well, the voting last year, somebody figured out that if you click like 3 different buttons, you can vote nonstop. So guys are getting like 350,000 votes.
Oh my god, you could stuff the ballot.
Yes, the ballot is like ridiculous. So they announced this during the shows. They're announcing Mysterioso Jr., who has 122,000 votes just within the last three days that it's been on. And it's like, yeah, because somebody's stuffing the votes. All you have to do is remind people. And they're posting pictures on Vangelis. There's something that people don't know. Vangelis posted on his Facebook. He's in the tournament. Posted on his Facebook page a picture of a girl with 2 laptops and her fingers on both of them.
I love it.
And it's hilarious.
There's some creative stuff going on there. I love it.
Because you could figure it out. Basically, if you go on there, I'll show you the page. It's basically...
Again, you're going to be entertained, folks, by...
Well, you can't hear... Well, oh, yeah, it does start with a... It starts with the video, but...
Well, while you're looking for that, I want to bring up... You know,
go ahead and talk about...
Well, you know how you brought up... They knocked his ring jacket, and it looked like something like a sanitation worker would wear. I remember back in 1982 when I was at a small show somewhere in Eastern Oregon. I can't remember which town it was, but one of these shows that was an armory, and that's when Dutch Savage was pretty much calling all the shots in Oregon. And I remember the wrestlers I knew up there just hated Dutch Savage. A lot of the fans liked him. I mean, it's odd. He's pretty cool to the fans, but boy, man, I'm saying, I wonder why they don't like him. And Tommy Rogers was wrestling that night, and he gets into the ring. And I don't know if he lost his ring jacket or something, but he had this long robe that was the cheapest looking robe I think I'd ever seen. Uh-huh. And Dutch Savage was doing the ring announcing also on the show, and he says, "Okay, and to my left, dressed in the red bathrobe, is Tommy Rogers." And I'm saying, okay, I think I see why they hate him now.
Yeah. See, what you do is you just click... See, there's a vote. I just voted for Valiente.
Awesome.
Oh, right there.
Very cool. You got your vote in.
And then you just refresh it. This
Very cool.
This is the old, the cheap, the slow way of doing it.
Okay.
You refresh it, then you go on there and you vote again for Valiente.
Can you get Stuka Jr. on top there?
Yeah,
give him all the votes. Good.
I voted for Valiente.
Oh man, Stuka Jr. Everybody.
But I think they must have fixed it because there's less votes.
Now you know what a mark I am for Stuka Jr. Do you think he'll ever punch a hole in the sky and that main event status?
I mean, he worked the main event for that one show in March.
The tag match. Yeah, that's
the tag match.
That's true. Yeah.
I think he's a main event. Here's the thing, there's main event singles guys who could work singles matches, and then there's main event guys who could work trios or tag teams.
And do you think that's...
I think he fits that, but they still don't do that. Like Ray Cometa, I think, can be a singles guy.
I agree. I
think him and I think Titan are guys who could be main event guys. As singles and trios, tag, whatever you want to put them in. But I mean, Ray Cometa and Stuka, they even created those matching outfits. They should be challenging for the tag team belts. They could feud with Tamatonga and Terrible.
That'd be awesome.
Take the belts off of them.
I could dig a whole program of those two teams.
Yeah, I just don't get what they're doing. Like, some of the stuff, they have belts, but it's like they give them to the same dude over and over, and the guy's already an established guy. He doesn't need the belt. Like, does Terrible need 2 belts?
Give him one.
Maybe he needs one to hold the pants, in case one's missing. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I think we mentioned this in the last podcast. We think about what we would do as promoters, and I think when you actually become a promoter or you're part of a booking committee, something snaps and I don't mean that in a sarcastic, negative way, but you start rationalizing strange things. And there must be a lot of power struggles and a lot of compromising done, and sometimes you compromise a program and it looks like there's not a lot of logic.
See, I don't mind certain stuff like that, but when you're elevating relatives of guys, that's where it bugs me. Like, why is Pure Oath working main events?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, I understand if you're going to create that character. Let's say you create that character and then you elevate maybe 2 guys to be a henchman, but they're working the semi-main or main event somewhere. I could understand working a main event in Guadalajara or something like that. I don't mind, but if you're working Arena Mexico and he's main eventing, it's really?
Yeah, no,
really?
Absolutely.
It used to be that.
And like I said, I bet you there's a lot of politicking, there's a lot of compromises made, and sometimes they're not the wisest decisions, but people are trying to make each other happy, or they're trying to burn.
They're trying to make Mystico and Rush happy by having their dad around. Maybe they need him to drive or something. I don't know. They need him to make sure that they get to the shows.
That's right.
Yeah. What else? Oh, you watched some CMLL recently, didn't you?
I did. I watched
the Blue Panther Virus match,
which I loved.
That was an excellent match.
Now, people should watch that 10-minute lightning match. Technical. Not a lot of, no high impact stuff.
No.
All
mat,
for hold.
A lot of hold.
Mat work, and on top of that, it was getting a pop.
Yeah.
The people loved it. They should be doing more of that. People should be economizing on the bumps they take. I think if you did more mat work, I think it would get over regularly. I think.
Why can't they do this more often?
I agree. Yes. Or anywhere.
It's like I say on every single show. You can't watch CMLL base everything as a ongoing thing because there's no flow to it.
Right.
But if you just follow based on one show, every once in a while they'll have one great show and that's what you watch, or one great match and that's what you watch. But then if you're gonna watch a full show, it's it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And
again, like we said, who knows what they're thinking in the back room? But
it
just
sucks.
showing...
It sucks because if they did it, they obviously have the talent where they could do it for a full year and it would make sense, but they don't do that.
Yeah, and I watched that match and I thought it's great. It's great to watch. It's not nearly as hard on the body as breaking out into a bunch of high spots right away and topes. You could do a lot of matches where you start off like they used to, where you start off with a lot of good mat work, break into the high spots, and climax with the topes. I know it's formula, but it worked.
That entire show was probably one of the best shows that they've ever had. The CMLL show.
Yes, I must admit that was about the only match I watched, but
let me see.
I still have it on my DVR. So
yeah, I can't remember what date that was, but I think I mentioned that it was probably one of the best shows that they've ever had. Just because they had so much top to bottom, No, you know what show it was that was really good? Yeah, it was a different show. There was a show where they had the minis. I think it might have been that match. I can't remember, but that show. No, it was the last show. They had the minis, and the minis worked a really good match. Then they had the next match that had a lot of the younger guys. I think they were working the Cancerberos. Virus and his group. That was a really good match, and it just kept flowing. The entire show was really good.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. I think this is
Sweet.
Here, I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, it was last week's show. Yeah, last week's show. Yeah, it was the week of the Chilanga. It must have been a weird weekend because the Chilanga Mass show was really good. Apparently, a lot of people were saying that was good. I think there might have been a AAA show that was supposedly really good. Yeah, the CMLL show. It was Demos 316, Little Violence, Little Warrior. Notice how I'm calling them that.
I dig it.
Versus Aereo, Bam Bam, and Shakurcito. That was a really good match. But the follow-up match was Misterioso and Puma King and Virus versus Fuego, Hijo de Fantasma, and Hombre Bala Jr. And that was a really good match. Yeah, it was that show.
Really good.
Yeah, because that actually was... I think that was the show that was really... That I thought was probably the best from top to bottom. Really good show. Herodes Jr.'s... That's another guy. Why are they wasting time with older guy? Herodes Jr. is another guy who's an opening card guy. By next year, he's probably going to be a main event guy because he has that type of. He has charisma. Yeah, he has charisma. You haven't seen him wrestle yet?
No, I have not.
Yeah. He's got that cool look to him.
Well, before we wind it up, we should mention that we will be doing a podcast really soon with our buddy Kevin Kleinrock.
Yeah,
he has a whole new project in the works. And
Kickstarter
involves Kickstarter, and we're hoping in the next week we'll be doing a special edition of LuchaWorld,
or it'll be our next show, and we could take a month off.
There you go. There you go.
Just kidding. No, we're trying to do this a little more frequent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
So it will be a special edition.
So we will.
Do you know what the Kickstarter is?
I have no idea what it is. All I know is it's something he's doing with Conan, right?
Yes, it's the Viva LA Lucha. It's basically it's going to be the pilot and web series that they're trying to get money for. I would explain it, but apparently I got it all wrong.
I know, that's why I don't...
Kevin told me I had it all wrong, so I'll let him explain it. I don't
attempt it, because I did hear a description of it, but it's vague in my head, and I know if I said it, I'll just mess it up. So Plus,
because I explained it the way I explained it, and this was on Twitter. Because Kevin will tell you that he told me that I was wrong in the way I explained it. The way I thought, not I explained it. The way I thought it was,
right?
Because I thought it was a combination of NXT and Busca de un Ídolo and the Quien Pita por una Corona, which is the AAA Finding New Guys, which has turned out into both. It's done wonders for AAA and CMLL. I mean, well, CMLL, what they're doing now is the Gran Alternativa, where they bring in. CMLL is a little more. It's more part of their promotion, where it's part of the. But it's done wonders for them with talent, and that's how I thought it was.
Yeah.
And Kevin said it wasn't that, so I was like,
so. But what we'll do is we'll have them explain to us
although
exactly
Steve said
what it is.
Although Steve said I was right. Steve said Dr. Lucha said I was right. So it doesn't come across well in a 140 characters tweet.
Yes.
So maybe that's where it's.
Well, Kevin, for people who know him or have heard him talk, you can tell is a very energetic guy who can.
And we're gonna ask him to put in more explosions. We want explosions in this. If you've heard his WSX show, basically the MTV people wanted more explosions.
They wanted more explosions.
And he said it was too much, and I said you can never have enough explosions.
There you go.
He posted the video. If you watch the Kickstarter video, he posted like about 10 seconds of what the MTV show, what his idea was, and then what MTV wanted. And what MTV wanted was a bunch of explosions. And I thought it was freaking awesome. I thought, hey man, how can you not have all these explosions?
We saw somebody drop bombs from the ceiling too,
like,
you know?
Well, what would basically... And it's his own fault because he brought up the FMW shows. Remember, you ever saw the FMW shows?
God, yeah.
Where they would have all these explosions and stuff like that?
Yes. Oh, God, yeah.
Which looks cheesy at times, and I think that's where he kind of understood, like, that's where he got it. Because it does work for certain matches, but if you're doing it all the time, it just, the novelty of it disappears. And
It's true. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, like, you know, you do these just absolutely stunning looking topes, but if you do them every night, it's like, oh, saw them do that.
So here's the thing. Kevin said he can't do it on this budget for this Kickstarter. He said I would have to get 3% more. So what I'm going to do, what's 3% of $60,000? Because that's what they're asking for.
They're asking a guy who flunked math.
Well, we'll have to figure that out. But I'm assuming that's about...
My dad is a nuclear physicist. I flunk math. I flunk math.
I'm guessing it's about 15,000. I think we should start a Kickstarter to have explosions.
Oh, a Kickstarter for his
There's a Kickstarter to have explosions on his show.
This will be a piggyback Kickstarter for him for explosions. And if we can't raise enough, at least we could raise enough to throw some fire bombs in there, some firecrackers.
You know what would be
that would be even better. You know, somebody's about to get the win, and a prankster throws firecrackers at them. They get scared and get pinned. You know, they get frightened by them.
So then I think it's going to go more than 3%. It's going to have to be at least. We're going to have to ask for at least 20,000.
Well, you might hear us doing Kickstarter very soon.
Actually, it wouldn't be like 15,000.
Yeah.
That's like more than 3% of 60,000.
Well, Fredo and I are actually going to do Kickstarter.
Once we figure out the math, we'll do a Kickstarter. And basically what our Kickstarter video will be, it's going to be us like muting Kevin saying that he doesn't want to do it. And it will be us extending that 30 seconds of him exploding stuff on WSX.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Into a 5-minute segment, and we're gonna just add more.
Blow up. He got blowed up real good as the Second City TV crew would say.
Kevin doesn't know this yet, but that will be our Kickstarter.
That will be it. And, well, of course, our other Kickstarters, we're going to start Holt Street Wrestling. And
yes, Holt Street.
For those of you who are outside of the SoCal area, Holt Street is... the scary part of Pomona, but it has some bitchin' places. There's a barbershop where we want to start promoting shows.
It's not a barbershop, it's an armory, and the barbershop's on the side.
Okay, but we will have matches in the barbershop.
And there's like a cannon, I think, on the side too, because it's an armory.
That's right. We'll shoot off the cannon.
Do you remember that one PWG show that we went to where the Dragon Gate guys?
Yeah, Stalker Ichikawa.
Yes, they put Stalker Ichikawa on the cannon.
There's a cannon outside the armory, and they're climbing all over it.
Yeah,
bitchin'. That was so cool.
We'll have to do that too. So I think there is a cannon.
We'll do angles in the barbershop. We'll do the interviews in the barbershop while the wrestlers get their hair cut. And that's what it is.
That's where we'll make our money. We'll offer haircuts.
Yes.
As part of our shows.
Exactly. And we'll interview the barbers too.
Yes, the barbers will be the wrestlers.
Yes.
You get to pick the wrestler you want to give you a haircut. Oh my god, that would actually be a great...
This would be brilliant. I think we got something.
This is a Kickstarter project here.
Oh my god. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you hear something brilliant.
And we'll have explosions too.
Lots of explosions.
Since apparently we're not going to be able to talk Kevin into doing explosions.
Yes, and
we'll have explosions.
Yeah, and we'll have lots of flashing lights for no reason. Lots of strobe lights. And then,
we'll get everybody dizzy.
Yeah, I feel dizzy. My head is spinning. Oh, God, yeah.
This is a show.
Oh, my God. These are the things dreams are made of. I got to tell you.
Oh, my spam Facebook friend just friended more people.
Oh, is this one of the ones where somebody shows themselves as a woman with sexy legs and they're...
No, it's just her face. Like, her face, like, doing a pouty face. Uh-huh. And since she had Dr. Lucha as a friend, I friended her. And immediately she sends me, "Hi, how are you?" I'm too tired to go to sleep. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then she's wrote, "How about I send me your phone number and I'll send you some cool pics." And I'm like, oh great, thanks a lot, Dr. Lucha. And I even asked them, "Did you friend her?" She's like, "Yeah."
I've been getting a lot of those lately.
Yeah.
And they're all from wrestling friends, like Facebook wrestling friends. So.
And now I don't want to unfriend her because I don't know if it's going to offend her or something. I don't know what'll happen.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will be talking to you folks this week, and
we'll try to get Kevin Kleinrock on the next show. Maybe talk a little more Lucha.
And in the meantime,
we'll probably definitely ask him about RXLL.
We certainly will,
because he didn't mention that on. I don't think anybody's asked him about that.
Yes, and we will also ask him about the CWLL.
What's that?
I don't know.
RXLL is a real thing.
Yeah, but CWLL I just made up.
And you're going to ask him about it?
I'm going to ask him about what that is and how he would go about presenting it to people.
Oh, jeez.
So there's going to be a lot of great stuff. So until...
Well, I think it's going to take him a long time just to explain to us his Kickstarter. Because we are kind of old. We're not new to the whole Kickstarter
He'll be doing all the work in the next show, ladies and gentlemen. So keep on rocking.